Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks Live. Let's see what we got here. Alright, trying our chat again, see if it'll work this time. Who is that there? Planet Xer, what's up? Bucky, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm gonna try this this chat thing out again, see if it'll work. Raziel, hey. If y'all wonder, if y'all wondering about this is truck bed lining. Couldn't get that shit off. I didn't get home till like 10 o'clock last night, and at the end of the day. It was middle of the damn night we got done, and I was like, I could have taken another 20-30 minutes to get this shit off my hands with mineral spirits, but I was just too damn tired, so I figure I'll get it off today when I get back there. Jeff 7, what's up? Today I was going to kick off the conversation because I heard this thing. I've been reading this thing every once in a while about this. There's a climate summit in Brazil about this climate shit, and all the European leaders of this climate and the WHO or the WEF or whatever, they're all going over there. And this climate group, right? Whatever their big what the group is called, I forget now. Something climate. Of course, they're putting out the word that this is our last chance, right? This is the last chance to get shit right. That they got to get all the countries together and get this climate shit right. If the countries' governments don't tax the shit out of their citizens and force them to buy certain shit and take away their freedoms and their money, then the earth is just going to kill us. Basically, that's what they're saying. And it's right now. It's tomorrow. The clock is ticking down on us. The doomsday clock. It's hovering over the midnight thing. Just you can see it in slow motion, that climate doomsday clock just waiting to click over to the 12. Just crazy shit. But how long have we been threatened with that shit? The world's gonna end tomorrow bullshit. And the craziest thing is actually Shannon's page. What's up? How's it going? Glad you could make it. The craziest thing to me that I read about that is that Brazil, where they're holding this climate summit, is in Brazil, right? And a few years ago, 8 years ago, whatever, Brazil, they put this proposal in to build this big highway right through the rainforest. And the Brazilian legislature or whatever and the Brazilian people, they voted it down because they don't want to destroy their rainforest. They don't for what is it, environmental reasons, right? They didn't want to destroy the shit. Don't destroy the rainforest. It's bad for the environment. The rainforest is the environment. So but now that the whole climate summit is being held there, they're going ahead and plowing this highway through the rainforest, so all these billionaires and these climate gurus and shit can arrive to this climate summit in style on this brand new superhighway or whatever. And the hypocrisy there, and we as Gen X have been taught our entire lives that, it's bad for the planet to destroy it. I mean, you don't want to plow under the rainforest. They made movies about it. How it was bad to deforest the planet. Now somehow they're trying to convince us now that it's good to destroy the environment, destroy the planet, to save it. Okay? And we're supposed to buy this horse shit. I get the young kids, they weren't around for the people, chaining themselves to trees and all that shit and save the spotted owl and all that. They weren't around for that shit. I get it. I get the young people. But, millennials and above should be, that we know, you know what I mean? It's bad to just knock down a rainforest in the name of climate. It's especially bad, because then now you're just talking out your ass. You're not gonna save the world by knocking down the rainforest and emptying the oceans and shit. Well, what, you know what I'm saying? Just let's destroy everything in the name of climate. To save the world. It just doesn't make sense. But all these people that are buying into this shit. I mean, honestly, that's like I want to make my car last longer, so I'm going to slam it into a telephone pole at 80 miles an hour. I mean, it's just that simple common sense shit. But people are buying into it. Oh, you got to slam your car into that why aren't you slamming your car into that telephone pole? People protesting out on my lawn and shit. Slam your car into the telephone pole. Save your car, slam it into the telephone pole. You're like, what? What planet am I on? Right? Tripwire Vintage. There he is. What's up, Vintage? Glad to see you here, man. Oh, okay. All right, Vintage. Well, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Tripwire. Who else we got here? Glad you could make it too, Trip. Glad to see you. Zombies here? Oh, yeah, there he is. All right. Glad you can make it, Zombie. All right, Vintage. Well, glad you can make it. Hope you enjoy the show. But, yeah, does anyone else think that this is just complete lunacy? We see all this shit going on, and these fools up here telling us all this shit about, we have to do all this insane stuff, inject cows with vaccines and stuff, all this crazy shit in the name of the climate, right? In the name of preventing climate change. And it's so fraudulent. They basically now they attribute anything to climate change. Now I've lived my adult life here in Florida, and for the last 20 some odd years, every single winter, right? This is the average Florida winter. I'll tell y'all, for those of y'all who don't live here. It normally stays hot until late October, right? Fairly hot. And then in November, it'll start cooling off and stay that way through December. Christmas Day, most of the times, it's in the mid-70s. Maybe dip down in the 50s at night, early in the morning. And then in January, we normally get 1 or 2 days where it'll dip down around freezing, low 30s. It'll dip down there, for just a wee hours of the morning. Not like 3 days in a row or anything crazy like that. It'll just dip down there for 2 or 3 hours in the morning, just before dawn. It'll dip down around freezing. and then get back up to the 60s or the 70s or whatever. And we might have 1 or 2 days like that in February. That is the average Florida winter. All right. Now, this year, now they're forecasting next week we're going to have, near freezing temperatures in the beginning of November. That's like 2 months early. It's already getting near freezing, which is wonderful for me. I love it, right? I love it. That's awesome. I'm happy. But okay, they can't blame that on global warming, right? This is the exact reason they came up with this climate change shit. Oh, that's climate change. You see, look at Florida. They're cold. They're freezing weather in November. That hasn't happened in 20 years. It's climate change. A hurricane hit somewhere. It's climate change. A forest fire. Climate change. There were 3 armed robberies in New York. Climate change. You know what I mean? They can blame climate change. Anything on climate change. So that's why they changed from global warming over to climate change. You know what I mean? If you get a cold winter in Florida, you can't blame that shit on global warming. You just can't. I mean, it was really a smart thing for them to do. But it's not smart for them to plow, miles of rainforest, and for dipshit Bill Gates to be, just burying forests, literally, just, digging big holes and throwing living trees, plowing, and then just burying them. What company does that? Who comes up with that idea? Oh, we'll just plow under. These morons, we'll just plow forests under, and we'll get funding. We'll call it climate change. I mean, these people are so damn crazy. We could just about make a company doing anything and get a billionaire to fund us, right? It's climate change. Well, it's climate change. Yeah. Yeah, Planet Xer, the world's bullshit is getting out of hand, dude. Oh, all right, zombie. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, Razio says he died a couple times from climate change, but he walked it off. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I wish I could tell you were tough from that, but I think anybody could walk off a climate change injury. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And more shit that yeah. Rub some dirt on it, Jeff. Oh yeah, zombie. You're right about that. And I opened this show up with this topic, so this is probably gonna get like, after y'all, after the live stream's over, this thing's probably gonna get like -3 views. Hey JP CJC, what's up, dude? Glad you could make it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Shannon. They need antibiotics now because they're packed together, and the stuff they're fed, they're not fed natural cow food anymore. You know what I mean? They're fed corn and silage and shit. It's not. Cows weren't evolved to eat that shit. Oh yeah, zombie. Yeah. I think they can just moderate. They can just censor comments like that. Just delete them. And what the hell. But video, more people are going to notice that if they just wipe my video off the thing, and as long as I don't go too far off the rails. They have wiped my video off the thing, don't get me wrong, and they will if I go too far off the rails. But yeah, and it honestly seems a little, they've they've loosened up on the censorship just a little bit since Trump got elected. Yeah, I've noticed a difference since Trump got elected. Oh, okay. Yeah, they need space, cows. They need space and grass and the stuff they naturally, evolve to have. We can't feed them a bunch of bullshit and keep them pinned up and think that, they're going to do okay. So they, instead of figuring out how to how to raise the cattle, in a healthy way, they just, turn to the pharmaceutical industry, of course, and just inject them full of bullshit. Jody, yeah, I hope so. Jody. I try to, if not what I know to be the truth and fact, at least what I think to be the truth and fact, and at least ask questions about this shit. You know what I mean? Because we need to wake up to this stuff. As a whole. It's just getting out of hand. It's getting ridiculous. We're taxed, and we're all these laws and regulations for all these climate friendly bullshit, and it's just getting out of hand. They're impoverishing us, and in the name of climate change, and we just need to start pushing back against this shit, in my opinion. Oh, okay, Underground. Joel Salatin and Greg Judy, great system for grass-fed. Yeah, I honestly believe that if we have a future, if humanity has a future, that is it. Smaller farms, all these huge monocultures and shit. All right, that is wonderful for huge corporations, right? Del Monte and all that stuff, because they can take a big old chunk of America and just raise corn, right? They've got, they just spray the shit out of it with chemicals, and so no bugs get on it. They don't care if the chemicals soak into the food and shit. They don't care. So they raise 1 billion tons of corn a year on all this land, and then ship it all over the world, process it into all these different things. Corn is a useful plant, so they process it into all these different things, and then Del Monte makes billions of dollars, of course, and it's great for them, but it's not great for American citizens of the United States. It's not great for us. It's just not. We're eating garbage. We're eating, I don't want to call them poison, but basically what it is, we're eating chemicals and shit, so that they can ship corn all over the world. They raise enough corn to feed every single American, 5 times over in a year. So they're not raising that for us. That's part of that globalist shit, that global economy, and so that opens up, right, consumer markets for these huge corporations, these huge monopolies, and that's exactly why. So now, because 1 trillion acres or whatever is devoted to corn, so now you have less land for cattle and sheep and other stuff like that. It's just less sustainable. You just have to keep spraying chemicals on all that shit, and now you're injecting cows with antibiotics and all this other shit. So, and that's the world we live in. Oh, these people, they do this shit, and then they want to, but they're masters at salesmanship, right? Presenting, marketing. They market this shit as wonderful, and people believe that shit. Oh, it's wonderful. It's, Del Monte's my friend. I want, the federal government would just hug me and hold me close and pat my back if I have to burp and all this shit. That's how they act, right? when these huge corporations, they're robbing us blind and slowly killing us, and you know, the masses of the population, not only are they turning a blind eye, but they are clapping and supporting this shit. Yeah, corn and data centers. You're right, Zombie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, underground. Yeah, corn makes cattle sick as hell. Yeah, that's why they got to get all those injections and shit, because cattle aren't supposed to be eating that bullshit. Yeah, especially after it's been sprayed with pesticides and all that. Ohio Valley Prepping, what's up, dude? Oh, all right. Yeah. Yeah, well, the smarter countries should definitely ban that shit, Shannon. Yeah, if they have any sense at all, we should ban that shit. And the other thing I saw this actually on the news. My wife is taken to watching the news, and I saw this thing on there where this kid, young guy, probably 20 years old, early 20s, something like that. You know, he's living at home with his mom, and honestly, in the U.S. economy right now, I don't really blame kids for living home anymore. You know what I mean? We are being forced into multi-generational housing like it was in the old days. So, you know, families would grow up and live and die in the same house for generations in the old days. So going back to that, I don't see much wrong with that. You know, if the entire family helps out, you know, they have a kid sleeping on the couch. A kid, I say, you know, 25-year-old man sleeping on the couch and playing video games all day. That, you know, that's different. That's a different situation. But anyway, this kid, him and his mom are suing ChatGPT because, and the first thing they say in the news article there is this kid is on the spectrum. He's on the spectrum. All right. And if y'all have been watching me for a while, you know how I feel about the spectrum. So I won't go into that right now. But this kid's on the spectrum. Now, then they sit him and his mom down on the couch and they're interviewing him and shit. And the kid just seems like a normal kid to me. He can speak and everything, just, you know, but he's on the spectrum, so he can't get a job or anything, I guess. I don't know. Can't speculate about that because they didn't talk about it. I'm just assuming. But anyway, he's a victim, you know. And he's a victim of ChatGPT because this AI, of course, talked him into going psycho, and he tried to kill himself and shit, I guess, something like that. And now they're suing ChatGPT for X million dollars or whatever, right? And this goes back to in my mind anyway, and I'd like to hear about what y'all think about this shit. See if because most people are going to say, you know, and I agree. I get wrapped up in this stuff. Chat GPT and all this AI shit is evil, but people are saying it's evil for the wrong damn reasons, right? It's not evil because it took advantage of this weak kid and all this shit on the spectrum and stuff. No, the kid shouldn't be on Chat GPT. He should have a damn job. Put his pill bottle down, put his controller down, and go get a job, and then, you know, help his mom pay the bills, and then he wouldn't be, you know, he wouldn't have all the time to fall in love with AI and try to kill himself and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. This AI shit is bad in a lot of ways, but these people have to start taking some personal responsibility and and just putting on their big boy boots and being adults. You know what I mean? That's 5-year-old shit. 5-year-old shit. Where they get talked into all this stuff by a robot online. I would worry about my 5-year-old doing that shit or something. I would not. Me and my wife, we have boys that are 25 years old. I'm not worried about any of them falling in love with AI and trying to kill themselves. I'm just not. So why some of these kids go down that path and how they got on the path. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Trip, the spectrum is green. AF, hey AF, glad to see you here. Yeah, stupidity with retaliation. Yeah, zombie. That's how I mean, Raziel, I'm the same. I'm the same way, dude. You probably heard me say it in the past. If this spectrum bullshit is nonsense. Not now. There are, I'm not like an autism denier, like kids don't have autism or whatever, or any of this crazy shit. But to make it a spectrum, and anywhere on that spectrum, you can have a pill to make your life better. Oh, you're on the spectrum. I'm on the spectrum. I'm a victim. I'm a tiny little snowflake in society, and I'm special, and and I need medication, and I can't work. That's why, I lay on my mom's couch all day and play video games and fall in love with AI, because I'm on the spectrum. I can't help myself. I don't have any responsibility. It's just, the way I am. That's the way it is. I don't no responsibility whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? That's why, the one job I did have, I worked there for like 15 minutes and they kicked me out and fired me because I wouldn't do shit. That's because I'm on the spectrum. It's just not my fault, everyone. That kind of shit pisses me off. A fully capable, functioning human being, and we're all a little weird. Y'all know I'm weird. I'm weird as hell. I'll be the first one to admit it. I got my, my idiosyncrasies and shit, but someone try to tell me I'm on the spectrum, I'm gonna laugh in their face. You know what I mean? I'm not on no damn spectrum. I'm just a dude. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their little quirks and shit. Yeah. How many times I've wanted to just walk off of a job? Why didn't I? Because I didn't have a mom to go home to and lay on her couch who would just pay my bills for my entire life while I play video games. If that had been, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have anyway, but I can see why these kids do that shit. It's society that has made it acceptable, right? All the pharmaceutical marketing and all this shit. Oh, okay, yeah. Rotating corn and soy, Shannon. Yeah, I've heard that. You got to put nitrogen back in the soil for corn. I'm not a super gardener or anything, but yeah, I have heard that. Yeah, Roz is gonna end up on the spectrum, huh, Trip? Yeah, Ohio Valley. Yeah, it's not looking good for the grandkids, dude. Yeah, Hey, thank you, Planet Xer. I'm weird as hell. I get told that quite a bit. I don't know why. I don't know why people think that. Okay. Yeah, entitled brat child is not a diagnosis. Yeah, AF, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of shit, And that's parental avoidance of responsibility too. You know, they get called to school, your kid's acting, oh, he's acting up because he's on the spectrum. You know, he's got ADHD, BDY, he's on the spectrum or whatever, you know, and whatever. And I'm not an expert about this shit. I just know that there was no spectrum in the 70s when I was in school. If you misbehaved, you know, your teacher would send you to the principal's office. And every teacher I knew, and I went to a bunch of different schools because my parents ran around like lunatics. So every teacher I ever knew had to deal with at least one, possibly 2 or 3 kids in the classroom who just couldn't sit still, sitting like this, you know, doing all this shit all the time in the, you know, making noise and doing shit. And, you know, and the teacher, little Johnny, sit down. Keep still, hush up while I'm talking, quit your shit, you know. And that's how it was. Now, you know, nobody has responsibility. The teacher doesn't have any responsibility. The parents don't have any responsibility. The kids don't have any responsibility. They all lean on the pharmaceutical industry or the mental health. You know, my kid goes to therapy and he's in therapy and she, you know, she missed her medication and all this stuff. And putting kids on, I'm just against putting kids on medication, period. You know, young children, you know, for mental things, you know, unless they are literally autistic, you know, or literally something. But all that spectrum stuff, oh, he's on the spectrum. How do you know he's on the spectrum? Well, did you give him a blood test, a EKG or something? Did you test him somehow? Oh, we asked him some questions. Okay. All right. I guess that's what you're saying. All right. I'll take it. How about he get an ass whooping and told to behave and or go get a job? Let him sleep under a bridge for a week. Maybe a job at, you know, at the Dollar General might be appealing to him then. That's just, you know, I don't know. That's just, I know that's crazy talk, but yeah, and that's the problem, Raziel. They're not supposed to sit still. Holy shit, we'd get out of that classroom, and it'd be like, you know, putting one of those Mentos in a Coke. You know what I mean? We'd get out of that classroom. We'd hit that door at a dead sprint. Clang. Those have to be the toughest things ever made. Is, you know, the door to the junior high school, because we would hit that thing at a dead run. You know, a pile of us kids. We'd hit the sunshine and the fresh air. Holy shit! And then we'd, you know, it was like setting a damn wild animal free. We were so full of energy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Shannon. Putting them on amphetamines and stuff like that. If the human race had been having a problem with stuff the entire time coming up, you know, I would understand it. You know, and we finally solved this problem. This is finally, we got this, y'all. This has been plaguing humanity for centuries, but we got it. This here. You know, you got to pay for it. We're a business, but here, we have solved this problem. No, that's not what happened. This problem just cropped up in the last, 40 years. This is some shit that has been, in my mind, manufactured somehow. Because we didn't have such a big population. Look, you can Google it and look at the stats of how many people. Now, understandably, they didn't have the ability to measure it like we do now. Okay, but still, the numbers of autism and ADHD and all that shit have skyrocketed since the 70s. Skyrocketed. I mean, like thousands of percent and shit. It's insane. So there's something going on. Something in the last 40 years has done something to our kids, and what is it, right? Now, they said it was the Tylenol or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea what it is. So, but I just don't know what the hell, why we allow them to manufacture problems and then give us a solution. And we see that all the time with the government, industries, pharmaceuticals, everything across the board. They manufacture problems we never had before, never had them before, ever. Never had, climate change wasn't a thing in the 70s, wasn't a thing in the 80s, wasn't a thing in the 90s, wasn't a thing in the early 2000s. And then all of a sudden, climate change. They did, oh, hey, everybody, we have a problem. Well, okay, that kind of thing, and they manufacture these problems for us. Tim Beck, what's up? Glad to see you here, Tim. yeah, that's not a problem. AF. Yeah, there's a reason for childhood and puberty, Tripwire. It just doesn't make sense, not correcting rabbit holes. What's up? Glad you could make it. Glad to see you here. Somebody else show up? I saw somebody else on here. I gotta scroll through the chat to see who showed up. So, but Oliver Rust, what's up, dude? Yeah, all this stuff, with the climate and all these new things, these new maladies, right, that they come up for us, and a lot of this stuff. Yeah, ozone layer. Throughout our lives, we've seen so much of these catastrophes that have been averted. That some of them just fade away. Some of them, humanity comes together and holds hands and fixes them. That's how they, that's what they say about the ozone layer. We did that. We staved off Y2K. With human effort. If not, the world would have collapsed. We'd all be, dying of skin cancer if they hadn't solved the ozone layer thing. And some of that might be true. Hell, I don't know. But when you have so much bullshit clouding up the conversation, you don't know what's true. And that, I think, is the point. To keep everyone confused. Hell, I'm confused. I'll be the first one to admit it. Hell, I don't know what's true. Was there a hole in the ozone layer or not? I have no idea. I never saw a picture of it. Nobody ever, I was just told, hey, there's a hole in the ozone layer. Okay. Hey, everyone's on the spectrum. Okay. Hey, climate change is going to, destroy the world. Okay. You know what I mean? I have yet to see any state or country or continent be swallowed up by the ocean because of the climate change and because of the ice, the Arctic ice melting or anything. It was supposed to swallow up. Florida was supposed to be gone 15, 20 years ago. The beaches are still the same, exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Literally nothing. Not even that much. The waves are still where they were 20 years ago. When I was a kid, they're still the same. The shape of Florida hasn't changed. It's not shaped like a horseshoe now or anything because of climate change. Nope. What? It just kills me, dude. But we keep believing it, as a society, not Gen X thinks, but as a society, we keep buying it. We gotta, I've gotta give the government more of my money and more of my freedom and more of myself to stop climate change. Oh yeah, this video is gonna be censored. Yeah, California. Yeah, AF. Yeah, they were telling us that California was going to drop off into the ocean. Yep. I remember seeing the maps of the new California after half of it fell into the ocean. Yeah. And the thing that really will really get you is that, okay, all these big, super, rich climate change pushers, the people who are pushing the climate change real hard, they'll buy oceanfront property while they're telling you that the seas are going to rise and swallow up all the coast. They're closing on their new beachfront property. That should tell you right there. Yeah, Tim. Power, profit, control the minions. Yep. Yeah, I know, Zombie. I've put my stuff on Rumble quite a bit. I've got quite a few videos over there on Rumble, but it's full of spammers and shit, and it's that shit is so bad over there now. That I literally have like 110 subscribers or something like that, and like 99 of them are just spammers, just people trying to get me to pay them to boost me in the Rumble algorithm. Literally, like 99 of them, and and you're doing that, and it's kind of irritating or disheartening or something. You. Oh man, I got a new subscriber on Rumble, and you go look, and then it's some jackwagon from India or Pakistan, who typing in broken English telling you how they're gonna boost you in the algorithm and shit, and you're like, what the hell, dude? I need to waste my time with this shit. So I don't know. Once in a while, I'll post to Rumble for a while, but then I always end up just not wasting my time anymore. Yeah, Jeff. Hose water is a sports drink at Gen X. Oh, liquid manure? Okay. Shannon, for the fertilizer? Jody, yeah, and they actually came up with a vaccine. I think, as far as I know, they're giving it to the cows. And that's another thing that douchebag Bill Gates was behind, funding all that shit, right? He's already funding that stuff, some kind of chemical that they're putting on the produce now. You may not know it, but that shit you buy in the grocery store, it's got some kind of chemical film over it now that called Appeal. And they won't even tell you what's in it. They just won't. It says like 5% something, and then 95% of the ingredients are whatever, unknown or something. It's crazy, but they're putting that shit on the produce now. It says to keep it fresh, you know what I mean? It's a preservative or whatever. But that Bill Gates, I don't trust that son of a bitch as far as I can, throw one of those cows that he's injecting with that crap. Hose water and Mad Dog 2020. Yeah, Zombie. Yeah. Oh, playing Bach in the background? Yeah, dude. More than a feeling? Yeah. I wish they'd just go ahead and reset it. Set that shit back. Oh, okay. Local professional farms around you. Yeah. And I think that's what it needs to go back to, And I think if people start waking up, that's what it will go back to. Stop, Stop supporting all these huge companies that are, just milking us. They're leeches, they're parasites. Yeah, small scale farms, Tim, yeah. And that's, just for our health and, for the future generations and stuff. That's where it needs to go. Yeah, that's a crazy thing there, correcting the rabbit hole. Have you seen the thing about Chernobyl recently? They had a documentary where they flew drones in there and shit, and it's a pristine forest. Raccoons and squirrels and deer and shit, wolves running around in there. Yeah, just living, no harm from the radiation. There's no mutants or anything. It's just completely fine in there. Not a damn thing wrong with any of them. Oh yeah, Ohio Valley. Yeah, that's a good place to get it from the Amish. And acid rain. They scared of with the acid rain and shit. The list of that kind of shit, the acid rain, the ozone, and ice age. The list is long and distinguished. It's a long one. People keep reminding me of new shit, that they threatened us with, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. All the threats that we had, of planet dooming scenarios. It's a shame when I can't even remember them all. Soy makes everyone buff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, correcting rabbit holes. Yeah, I've heard about that was just a big scam, a big psyop to turn people against nuclear energy, because nuclear energy is clean, it's effective, and that would hurt the oil industry, their profits, so they had to do something about it. Oh yeah. Yeah, Razio, that's right around the corner. They're going to start watering the crops with Brondo. Yeah, because it's got what plants crave. Yeah. Oh, that's right around the corner. We're almost, as a society, we're almost that stupid, dude. Yeah. We're falling in love with AI. And, our computers are telling us to kill ourselves and shit. I mean, what's next? We're watering plants with Brondo. That's what's next. You know what I'm saying? What the hell? I'm just glad I've got my big brother government to look after me. All right, they've got a crib sitting there in the Pentagon for me to go lay in, and they would just walk by and pat my head once in a while and give me a bottle and take care of me and adjust the thermostat when I get too warm or cold, and they're just gonna So I just get bored real easy. That's the only reason I don't go to the Pentagon right now and lay down in my crib. They have reserved for me. They're just, I get antsy. I like to do shit. But a lot of people seem like they believe shit like that, dude. Yeah. Yeah, correcting rabbit holes. Yeah. 1946, no radiation. That I've heard that whole thing with the fallout and the nuclear winter, all that stuff we've been taught as fact. Those are just theories. They don't know. They don't know what'll happen in the event of a global nuclear war, like some kind of apocalyptic event. It could kill. It'll, of course, cause immediate loss of life, just like any other bomb, but they don't. All that stuff is just meant to scare people. But we're taught that stuff as if it's a fact. I grew up my whole life thinking if we had a nuclear war, there'd be a nuclear winter, and the planet, the crops wouldn't grow and no plants would grow, and everybody, there'd be mutants and shit and all this stuff. What if that's just bullshit? Just what if? What if? Just entertain that idea. What if all that stuff is just bullshit? Oh yeah. Yeah, zombie hemp is so useful, dude. That was like our number one crop for I don't know how many years. It was our number one crop. Hemp was, United States. Oh yeah, yeah. Trip AI is the ultimate stalker. Yeah, yeah. Underground, we have plenty of glow in the dark, Soylent Green. But that's just stuff I think about. All this shit that's what do you if it is it propaganda, brainwashing, all this stuff. And what really kills me is why do the billionaires feel such a need for more billions? You know what I mean? They will sell out their entire country, their entire civilization for more billions. And I think I mentioned it the other day, where Amazon just got popped. They had to settle a lawsuit because they scammed a bunch of people on with their Amazon Prime subscription thing, right? To make more money. So Amazon scammed their own customers, scammed them. They're already a billion-dollar corporation. They're firing their employees. Get the hell out. We don't need you anymore. We got AI to do that shit now. They're scamming their customers, stealing money from their customers. And we're okay with it. It's okay. Amazon just, they'll get, their lawsuit, they'll have to pay out a couple billion, which is like some lint in my pocket. For me, $1 billion to Amazon is like, the lint and maybe a penny or a nickel or something in my pocket. Shit, I don't even notice. That's what $1 billion is to Amazon. And that's what their penalty is. Nope. Nobody's going to jail. Nobody who pulled the trigger on that situation is going to jail. Nobody. Now, if I defrauded you like that, they drag me out of here kicking and screaming. Bust my head open, throwing me in the back of the cop car and shit. But Amazon, it's Amazon. That's okay. That's Jeff Bezos. He donated to my to my political fund. Can't put that dude in jail. Oh yeah, no, I don't have any doubt, AF, that radiation is real and it's harmful. My only question is, how long does it last? Does it last for centuries or decades like they say it does? That's the question. How long does that shit last? Is it a flash and it goes away? How does the radiation sit there in that area for decades? Why doesn't it just dissipate or whatever? The shit exploded. We're talking about nuclear bombs here. Not a piece of inert, and not inert, but not a piece of stable or unstable or whatever uranium. That shit clicks on. No, the uranium exploded. And so, I don't know. Then when I think about it now, I have questions about that. Oh, okay, Raziel. Heirloom hemp seeds. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Everything's outlawed, and everything except radiation, chemotherapy, and shit's outlawed in the U.S. From what I understand, unless they've, which I doubt they have, changed it since the last time I checked. But people had to go to Mexico and shit to try to get any kind of alternative therapy for cancer. And that opened my eyes. Why the hell can't I treat my cancer any way I want? Why is it in the law books that I can only treat it with chemotherapy and radiation and shit? Why is that a law in the United States? I don't see how that helps people, the common person, the common cancer, victim in the United States. I don't see how that's helping them. taking away their options, taking away their freedoms. So, I got questions about that shit too. Yeah, AF, that's what they do. Those software companies and shit, they screw us over. They would just go into your account and take the damn money out. Even, I've done it before, went in and they make it super hard, super difficult to cancel your subscription or whatever. Go in, have to Google it because they don't make it obvious on their website, right? Why should I have to go turn to another search engine, to find out how to cancel my subscription for your service? That should be just right there. Put it at the bottom of the page, cancel. No, you've got to go into settings and drill down through this website and mislabeled shit and everything, and you finally find the cancel page, and then they got to ask you 3 to 4 times, you sure you want to cancel? Don't do that. We're sorry to see you go. Here's a new thing, and hopefully by the time you spend 20 minutes trying to cancel, hopefully someone will interrupt you and call you away, right in the middle of that. The longer they take to make you cancel, the longer they have, the more opportunities they have for you to get called away for do something else. I might be trying to cancel, and then my wife come in and call me and tell me she needs help or something, and I get up and go. By the time I'm done doing whatever I'm doing, now I've forgotten I was trying to cancel that shit. So I went all the way through and canceled it. No, I don't. Cancel. And I even got an email telling me, you're canceled, we're sorry to see you go, you're good through whatever date. And they still tried to debit my account. Yeah, and then sent me another email telling me that my account was going to get canceled if I didn't pay. So just, they're duplicitous, thieving scumbags. I don't know how else to say it. Now you know how I feel about that shit. Yeah. Respond to that's one good thing about, I will say about, I like it when you do it through Google. Google, for some reason, is legit with that shit. I go in and I can just go to Google Play and cancel whatever I want, and they just cancel that shit. No problem. No problem. Your YouTube, whatever that is, their Platinum Elite subscription they keep trying to sell me or whatever, it's on there. I don't want it. I'll just go cancel it. No problem. It's canceled. They don't screw around with that shit. Maybe they probably got sued, 10, 15 years ago, and so they had to tighten up, or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating. But Google's good about that shit. Now, they've got a lot of problems, censorship being one, but yeah, they're good about that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you can refuse the treatment, cancer treatment. You can refuse chemotherapy and all that shit, but you can't opt for something else. You can't say, well, I want mega doses, vitamin megadose treatment or some kind of other alternative treatment. You don't have a selection of treatments you get to pick from. You can either take what is legally allowed or refuse it. That's it, from what I understand. Yeah, the government keeps borrowing from us without our consent. Yeah, over here in America too, Trip. That sounds like something a Goonie would say, Jody. Yeah, That's awesome, Shannon. EDU email. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be a guest on Ohio Valley Prepping on November 16th. It'll be right after, it's a Sunday, right after, a couple hours after the Sunday live stream. So that y'all want to check that out. Oh yeah, for everybody too, join our Discord. Let me put the link up there. I'll put the link up there for y'all. I should have put it up there already. So anybody who wants to join the Discord can. Which Discord is pretty cool. I don't know how many people are. I haven't been a big, I've never really used Discord before now, but it's enjoyable when I have a few minutes. Like last night, I didn't leave the job until 10 p.m. I didn't get to bed until 11, by the time you get home and wash up and all that stuff, so. All right, well, our hour is up this morning. Good conversation. Bad news is nobody else will probably see this video beyond the people who showed up to watch it live, because I'm afraid that this one will get tamped down by the algorithm. But these are the kind of conversations that we need to have. We need to talk about this shit. And not because, climate change is a hoax or any of that shit, because we need to talk about it. Is climate change a hoax? Hell, I don't know. I just know that it doesn't make damn sense to me. This shit, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it really disgusts me when I see people acting like robots and climate change is, gonna kill us all, give the cows shots, I'm on the spectrum. That shit, I just don't like seeing people act like that shit. You know what I mean? Acting like robots and shit. I just don't like it. I've always been, and I think that's a Gen X thing too. We've always been fans of the little guy. We all watch Rocky. He was supposed to lose and get his ass beat, get knocked out in the first round, but he gave Apollo Creed a damn good fight. We always root for the underdog. And in this scenario, the citizens are the underdog. We're fighting against billion-dollar corporations and governments and all this shit and these institutions like this climate change crap and all this kind of crap, and we're the underdog. So I hate it. I hate to watch the underdog just, get their asses beat on anything, whether I'm watching baseball or any damn thing else. Yeah, Jody, that's what I'm saying. We are the little guy, and I just hate to see the little guy get his ass kicked and get run over, and I root for the underdog. And just so happens in this thing, I am the underdog. We are the underdog, and Generation X has always been an underdog. Our generation, we know this. We're the underdog. We're the little guy. We always have been since we were born. So anyway, I'll say goodbye. Planet Xer, Tripwire, Zombie, Oliver Russ, Jeff 7, Jody, Shannon, Bucky, Vintage, if you're still listening, Vintage. Goodbye. Tim Beck. Who else we got? Electronic Music Underground. Connecting the rabbit holes. I think I called you correcting the rabbit holes earlier. My apologies, dude. Ohio Valley Prepping. We'll see you on the 16th. It's the 16th, isn't it, Ohio Valley? We'll see you on the 16th. That'll be a fun conversation, man. I'm looking forward to it. AF. Can't forget AF. Who is that? Rusty Dube snuck in here on me, dude. What's up, Rusty? Goodbye, Rusty. You snuck in here on me, dude. I didn't see you there, man. These comments fly by pretty fast sometimes. All right, let's see. I hope I got everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. Hopefully I got everybody. Did I say Tim Beck? All right. Well, goodbye. I hope you enjoyed the program. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Hope you enjoyed getting into the conversation with me. And I really hope you enjoy talking about this stuff and thinking about this stuff. You know what I mean? With me and with the fellow Gen X Thinks group. Because, you know, we should at least have our eyes open. And that's my only thing. Let's go into this with our eyes open. We don't have to get out there and beat our drums and dress up like tacos and all that shit. But at least let's be honest about what's going on with each other and with the world. Let's at least be honest. If we're the only little island of honesty and truth left on the planet, that's the island I want to be on. All right? That's just the way I see it. That's the way I feel about the situation. I'm not gonna march to the corporate drum or whatever. So that's just the way I see it. I must, give the middle finger to the government, the corporations, the people who are trying to destroy our civilization. I'll go down, I'll go down into the swamp, raising my middle finger in the air as I sink down into the abyss. I'd rather, do it that way than just march off willingly, So, anyway, thank y'all for showing up. I sincerely appreciate it, and I'll leave you there with that. All right, have a great weekend, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for our Sunday, 2-hour show, our big one. I hope y'all can make it. And I'll leave you there with that. As always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.